Hello everyone, welcome to Nilanjana's exclusive English lessons. But today this video is nothing about English. I am here to help you with your Geography ICSE exam. I have here with me a very experienced teacher of geography, Suranjana ma'am.
Hello.
And she is going to help us with whatever doubts we have, the questions that I have been getting from all of you, that how you can nail your geography exam. So this video is going to answer all your questions. So welcome Suranjana ma'am to this show. Okay. So yes, a little information about Suranjana ma'am. I call her a storehouse of knowledge because she has worked in the top schools of Mumbai as well as Kolkata. And she has been associated with ICSE exam for many years. So I thought that she is the correct person to approach to, and without wasting much time, let's dive in. Okay. So the first question, ma'am, that everybody has is it possible to get 100 in geography?
Yes, it is very much possible to get 100 in geography. As in, it is quite easy to score a 80 on 80 in your ICSE paper.
Okay. I have seen many students getting, but still there are doubts in the minds of children that is it really possible or not. But of course, it is possible if you have the correct approach. So let's understand the question paper and how we can attend the question paper properly. So I'll begin with the part 2.
Yes.
Can you give us a brief about what is there in the part 2 and how the students can attend the part 2 part of the paper?
Part 2 is basically the theory part of geography. Part 1 is maps, topo maps as well as MCQ. I'll come to that later. Part 2 is the theory. There are 20 chapters there, and out of that, from 5 chapters you get 5 individual questions, and those chapters are climate of India, soil resources, natural vegetation, then comes water resources and transport. So I think so many of you all, the ones who just some of you like the subject, others do not like the subjects, it's okay, but we cannot really avoid the subject. So the ones who really prepare for it, they go for usually these 5 questions, and prepare a 6th one as a buffer and then put a full stop to it. That is possible. That was possible 2 years ago because there were no MCQs. Now with the MCQs, we have to be a little smarter while studying. So these 5 chapters, if you are okay with it, then nothing like it. But some children do have issues with the chapter climate.
Exactly.
Yes, because there are some applied questions in it, and should we discuss it later?
Yeah.
So instead of climate, if you are not going with climate, I would suggest go with the rest 4, because they usually have direct questions, and the applied questions in these 4 chapters are also quite easy to comprehend as well as answer. And if you are thinking of the 5th option can be minerals and power resources. 3 easy chapters, very direct questions, and again easy to answer. If not that, if you are good at remembering names and the typical rote learning, if you are good at it, then you can go with the industries question. If you are good with names, places, etc., etc. And if not, and if you have a 3rd group subject of ENA, then I would suggest go for waste management, because there will be a lot of common things, and in waste management you have again say 4 or 5 marks of direct questions and 4 or 5 marks of very open-ended questions, where you can go a little away from the main theme, hit around the bush and still get marks. That's the thing.
Okay.
So that becomes a little easier. And agriculture, there are 4 chapters, 10 mark question. I would suggest not to really go for it for part 2.
Okay.
Now let us come to addressing the problem of climate, if you call it. Climate is basically what we see around us. We live in India, so the climate of India. We are studying about the climate of India. Here, for studying the climate of India, if you're a little observant of the seasons, and that is what we teach, the seasonal pattern, that's it. If you have grown up here, you're 16-year-old now, so you are aware of the seasons and all. If your approach towards the chapter is not very fearful, then I think so it is absolutely okay. Otherwise, you have to be a little aware of the places, their locations, as in there are many give reason questions like this place gets this much of rainfall, that place is very near it, but doesn't get that much of rainfall. So you have to be aware of the facts of relief rainfall, how the windward side of a mountain gets more rainfall, how the leeward side gets less rainfall. I'll give you a very easy example of Mumbai and Pune. Mumbai lies on the windward side of Western Ghats, gets more than 200 centimeters of rainfall, whereas Pune, quite near Mumbai, lies on the other side of Western Ghats, that's the leeward side. Most of us have travelled from Mumbai to Pune multiple times. We know that we cross the Ghats.
Exactly.
So these are a very little applied knowledges that if you have that, if you can apply that, then well and good. And there is a 3-mark question usually, again I'll say usually, of the climatic data table. That also has very basic formulas and of determining the range of temperature, the mean rainfall, etc., etc., total rainfall. That is again very easy. So 3 marks come easily there.
Okay.
So if you want to attempt climate, then you will have to be a little,
aware about these things. Especially I have seen that students are a little cautious when it comes to this particular lesson.
Yeah.
I think because of the length of the lesson also, they get a little jittery. But yes, if you follow ma'am's tips, I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. Basically, we just need to be aware about our surroundings and have a little bit of general knowledge.
Yeah.
I think if we have that, we can actually attempt the questions.
We all have that, but we fear the chapter, and it has, I think, so 3 pages of questions. That's also a little intimidating for children. That's it.
Exactly.
So this was all about part 2, and I would seriously suggest, please keep a 6th question ready. You never know. Because you do not want to score less there. So attempt a 6th one also, even if you have done the first 5 nicely, attempt a 6th one so that you ensure that you get the highest marks in part 2.
Okay. And I think more or less we have a lot of clarity about part 2 now. Now let us go to part 1, which is very scoring.
It is very scoring.
It is very scoring. So part 1 basically consists of
MCQs, map work, map of India, and topo.
Okay.
And let us begin with MCQ.
Yeah. Yes.
For MCQ, now for MCQs, which has been recently introduced in geography, did not make everyone happy. I know that, because earlier you could just get away by studying 5 or 6 questions. Now you have to go through the rest of the chapters also. But here you can go a little smart. I think so your school libraries will have the last 2 years MCQ books when we had the ICSE in an MCQ pattern. If you have access to that, very well and good, because you can just go through what type of MCQ questions are asked, and there are many publications who had done that. If not, for the 5 or 6 questions or the chapters that you are attempting for part 2, they are thoroughly done already. The rest you have to study smart about the chief facts of those. I'll just read out a few. Say for example, for the MCQs you learn, say, the largest coal field of India, the most productive oil field of India. You will be given options, so you will be able to choose which is the rainiest place in India. This will be a climate question. Then say from waste management, which method is mostly nowadays used to manage solid waste or non-biodegradable waste. These things are the basic key facts of each and every chapter. If you are thorough with that, you are good with the MCQs.
Okay.
Now if we come to the map work, next 10 marks,
Yes.
map of India. Map of India, the first and foremost thing that you have to do is, when an examiner is checking your paper, if the examiner sees a map which is untidy, it really puts her or him off. So the first thing is, make it neat. Make it neat. Label your map with a prominent black pen. Use arrows wherever necessary, making sure that the arrowhead is towards the feature and not towards the label. Okay, the arrowhead should be towards the feature, and you are wherever there is a requirement of arrow, use arrow. Then you will use appropriate colors for all the features. Blue for water features, brown for mountain, yellow for desert, green for plains, etc., etc. You all already know about this. You all have been doing maps for a long time now. Now if you are, there are certain places where children really tend to lose marks in maps for silly mistakes. Say for example, you are given river Brahmaputra. You start coloring it from Tibet, then you color it in India, then you color it in Bangladesh also. In Tibet, it's not known as Brahmaputra, it's called Sangpo there. In Bangladesh, it is called Jamuna. So those two rivers are not technically Brahmaputra. Only the portion in India is Brahmaputra. So it is expected that you will be, even if you have colored the whole river, it's okay. You will be labeling the river inside India. Same with Indus. Same with the tributaries of Indus also. These are the rivers which are, traveling from one country through the other and then into the ocean. You'll have to be careful about this.
Exactly.
If you just mark Brahmaputra in Tibet, you will not get marks. It will not fetch you marks. Again, another common mistake is if you get River Krishna, you color River Krishna, you color River Tungabhadra also. That again makes you lose one precious mark. In map work, there is no half marking. It is either 0 or 1. So you'll have to be very careful. Moreover, when you are marking your mountains, make sure that your brown color pencil is really sharpened and you're not clumsy in marking them, go here, go there, touch the coast, etc. That's not, that's not a good thing to do. When you're marking cities and ports, use a red dot or a black dot and make sure that the port's dot touches the coast. It's a port, come on, it will touch the coast, right?
Exactly.
So, and one more thing is when you're drawing the Indian Standard Meridian, you will draw the Indian Standard Meridian using a scale, using the guide points. It will be a straight continuous line. You will write Indian Standard Meridian, you will write 82 degree 30 minutes east. Do not forget to mention the longitudinal ladder. Again, for the Tropic of Cancer, it will be a dotted curve, not a scale. You will not use a scale to draw that line. It will be a dotted curve and you will write 23.5 degree north. For both this latitude as well as the longitude, degree value is a must or else you will not get marks.
So they have to write that 23.
Yes.
Otherwise, even though they draw it correctly, the marks will not be given. So I hope everybody takes a note of this particular strategy or technique what ma'am is sharing.
One more thing, if you are asked to shade and label an area of sparse population or dense population, you will shade, you will label as well as name the place. If you are labeling Arunachal Pradesh, you will write Arunachal Pradesh. If you are labeling Kerala, you will write Kerala. State boundaries not necessarily to be clear as an atlas, that's fine, but you will label it. And all the other water features should be blue. Make sure that whenever you're coloring your gulfs should touch the coast.
Okay.
These are the basic things that you have to follow for the map.
So so whatever you learn, also apply a little bit of common sense.
Yes, exactly.
That is more important. It's not just rote learning.
Yes, exactly. You cannot avoid geography any day in your life. You use Google Maps, right? So
exactly.
That's geography.
Exactly. Okay, yes ma'am, now can we go to topo?
Topo, yes. Topo, the most feared factor of geography. But topo is actually, earlier it was 20 marks, now it is 10 marks. And the questions have also become easier over the years. In topo, there should not be any compromise in learning the definitions, signs and symbols, and the meaning of each and every color. I am sure you all are conversant about it, about all of these three things by now. So the colors, what color represent what? Yellow is a desert in map work. When we are coloring Thar Desert, we color it yellow. But in topo map, it means agricultural land. Green means forested land. So these colors, black is non-perennial water features. Blue is perennial water features. These are very basic things. You should be knowing that. Colors, you all should be thorough about the colors by now. Definitions. And also the heights. They get a little confused about the heights. There are many types of heights represented on a topo map. It's just a picture. You have to read the picture and answer the question. That's it. So there, say the benchmark, triangulated height, spot height. They are all shown in black. They are all measured from the mean sea level. Contour height is shown in brown. Again, it is measured from mean sea level. But the most common mistakes that we see is the R value, 10R, 7R, 3R, where is it written, why is it written, etc. So this R value means relative height. If you miss out the word relative, 0. Okay. So you have to write, suppose 3R is written beside a river bank. So it will be the relative height of the river bank is 3 meters from the surroundings. This complete sentence will fetch you 1 mark. You miss out one word, no marks. Okay?
Okay.
It is a little strict. The council is a little strict with part 1.
Okay.
And suppose it is written beside a tank with an embankment. So the relative height of the tank is 3 meters from the surrounding. You will have to mention the tank with the embankment. If it is written along the embankment, it will be relative height of the embankment. I am stressing on the word relative.
Okay.
Relative height is written in black. Relative depth is written in blue. It is usually written beside a well.
Okay.
So that will be relative depth of the perennial lined well is such and such meters from the surroundings. The only the relative height is from the surroundings. All the other heights mentioned in the topo map is from the mean sea level.
Okay.
This is a very common mistake. Another common mistake which we come across is when we ask them to calculate area, or when we ask them to calculate straight line distance from one place to the other. They do the entire calculation correctly, and at the end they forget to write the unit. For area it is kilometers square, we use the metric system, and for distance it is always kilometers. Do not forget to write the unit and do not lose marks for silly reasons.
Yeah, you do the entire thing and then you don't write the most important part.
Yes.
All your effort goes for a waste.
Yes,
So
yes.
just be a little careful while doing it. And I think the marks has reduced as per the sample
Yes,
paper. It
yes.
has earlier it was 20, now
it is 10.
10.
Now it is 10.
Okay.
So these are the basic things that one more thing is when you are asked to determine the direction of one place from the other. There also children get a little confused. If you are asked about the direction of place A from place B, the answer you will be framing is always place B is situated to the dash of place A. Not place A is situated to the dash of place B. So there you frame the answer in your mind, fill in the blank later. That way you will not make a mistake. And also for the direction of river, always look for the arrow. Usually in council papers, there is always an arrow in the river course. Look for the arrow in the river course. If there is no arrow, then look for the spot heights and triangulated heights along the banks of the river and determine which way it is flowing. That's it. And I think so one more thing that children make a mistake is about the drainage patterns. When you are determining the drainage pattern, if it is a hilly area, it cannot really be dendritic. If it is a hilly area and there are contours, you will see whether it is a radial pattern or a trellised one.
Okay.
In the plains, you usually have dendritic and sometimes trellised. You will always see the angle that the tributary stream is making with the main stream. You see that, look for contours, absence or presence of it, and then finally it will be very easy for you to determine what type of drainage pattern it is.
Okay. So I think ma'am has covered the common mistakes that students usually make in the exam, and she has also shared some very important tips. And just one question for you, ma'am, like, do you think there's some special strategy that they need to follow to remember the key facts and figures? Anything that any particular strategy that you suggest, or it's like continuous practice?
For map work, it is basically practice, and when you're practicing, when you close your eyes, at least I'm not telling you should always imagine map of India, what you did in your geography class, but just look at the picture. You must be having practice maps or guide maps with you. Just keep on looking at them. Keep on looking at them. Then as soon as even if you're confused, you will get the clear picture of it. Because the river is already drawn in the map. So you just have to trace the course of the river and use the rivers to draw all your other features. You should remember that, okay, Chota Nagpur Plateau, this is touching both the arms of Damodar there. Okay, Deccan Plateau, I will be beginning from the bottom of Tapi. I will not cross entire Mahanadi there. I'll curve it. I will end it before when the Kaveri begins. So use the rivers to draw the other physical features.
Exactly.
And also to locate the cultural features also. The rivers are drawn. Use them as your extra guide. That's it. And for theory, it's we all know the chapters which you choose should be according to your strength, and then I don't think so there is anything to stop you.
Exactly. So I think all the doubts are more or less solved, but if you have anything further, you can ask in the comments and definitely we'll get back to you. And I hope this session is fruitful, and if you think that this is fruitful, please share it with your friends, because there are many students, those who have doubts with geography, they get jittery with geography, thinking, they get scared, because I have seen it with my experience. They consider geography to be a little scary subject.
Yeah.
So I think it should not at all be like that. So please go ahead and share it with your friends to help them. And if you like the content, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me. All the very best for your, not only geography, the rest of the exams also.